As promised, I'm getting into the deck techs for the 3 decks that I was able to make with a single box of Jalara 2nd edition. So I was able to make 3 decks. I'm not saying that they're great or competitive in any fashion, but I've done my best to gather some ideas from previous deck techs and things that I've seen to show that you can have some success building and creating with limited supplies. You don't have to open up 10 boxes of J2 and a bunch of Origins. Origins helps out one of these champions more than the others, but I will say that it is doable. I got both of these deck techs. These are loosely based off of other things I've seen. Idris is kind of based off of Scheming Skeletons, Idris Monsters. This is by him. This was his Tempits deck, which is Temporal Infernal Pits. And then Kun just seemed like a real solid beat 'em up, get in close with the extra free movement speed that seems kind of broken as far as this game goes. And I've seen him in a lot of tournament gameplay, and I've just kind of built a deck around what I like. I don't have like 10 bolt shots or 20 of them, and I don't have a bunch of things like Rope Tornado from Origin, so I've built the decks the best I can. If you want to watch a specific one, feel free to click on off and go ahead and watch one of those others. I will be starting off today talking Idris Monsters. This was a Scheming Skeleton deck tech that he essentially jammed in his favorite or his top monsters. I'm going to go ahead and set Idris off to the side a little bit, and we're going to get into this. I will say that this is very little spells involved in this deck. It is mostly just summons. So I've done my best to literally make this a summons deck. The other one is a spells deck, and the last one is a techniques beat 'em up kind of deck. So for this first one, okay, I do have a couple of epics that I've included in my decks. I just play them. I did manage to get an epic Call to the Bones, so I do have 2 Call to the Bones as some of our only, these are 2 of our only spells that we have, unless I have a spell in the back. I thought they'd all be techniques, but maybe not. These are our spells to summon some creatures. I haven't played with these to summon some skeleton warriors yet, but I do have some tokens to drop in at the back. So Idris is starting off with some Call to the Bones. We did manage to open up 3 Lightless Tivicinas in addition to the foil one, which this is a strong card. I don't know why you wouldn't run 3 Lightless if you have them. I mean, it's an 8, but it's solid. So maybe my cheese off on here. Maybe this deck just becomes too expensive to play even at 150 aura. But at my 250 chi, I maxed it out with my creatures. I have an epic Zanbar Dragon, so 3 Lightless Tivicinas, 2 epic dragons. I got an epic Enraged Gorilla for the extended art, so 3 Enraged Gorillas. They seem pretty sweet with the heavy attack and a counter attack. 1 Olgoy Korkoi. It also has counter attack. Your Baruch has Blitz, seems pretty sweet. A single giant scorpion. So once again, I opened 1 box, so I just took the best things for what I had. My Angul has an execute ability, which seems pretty great. I had 2 gorillas with ranged attacks, seemed pretty good for a 14 cost. I opened 3 decoy rabbits, so I figured instead of running Chrono Walkers, I'd run some decoy rabbits, try something different than what everyone else does. There might be a reason they run it differently, but that's what I did. For my 5 chi now, I started off, I've got 5 baboons, opened up 1 of them in the foil one in the god pack. Bunch of 1-ofs for 5s. To round it off, I have a Jalaran Hound and a Rompo. Carrion Feast seems pretty good, and just the 9 for 3 seems pretty decent as far as Jalaran Hound goes. Bahu, starting in our 4s, 3 Bahus. It's a 6 cost for 2. As far as Beacon, this is a Swift Resurrect Beacon, so I have 3 Yamadutas. So if any of my other summons die, I can drop these 3 in. I wish I had more of these creatures. It's a bunch of like one-ofs, but it is what it is. My next one-ofs in my 4 category force, I have a Neratite and a Lion Mane Rabbit. This was a foil, so I dropped it in, and it has Execute, so I put it in. Now for my 3s, I start off with a Draconis Vixen, and I mean, even in my Dragon Shield sleeve, like this is... I hate that the foils look like this and do this. Ugh. Let's talk other 3s. Infernal Ghouls. I have 5 Infernal Ghouls. 6 cost, basic attack of 2. And these last bit of cards are now my creature evasion and creature protection. It's allowing me to move or moving my creatures themselves. So I have Oten. I have 2 Otens to allow me to move. I have 2 backflips for my movement. Shoulder hop lets me not move, but place myself in a different spot. So that is great evasion. Also allows me to summon in different locations sometimes with 3 of them. 2 malicious persuasion allows me to move my summons out of danger and get them out of trouble, get them out of dodge. Yeah, they'll take a heart, but I'd rather move my lightless out of a bolt shot or a tsunami than get and take 1 heart from them, which actually on a lightless Tibicina comes out to 0. And last but not least, this seemed fun. I don't know if this card's good. This is the other spell in the deck. It could be bad. I don't know. Target summon in the awareness, it gains 2 hearts. And then when it attacks, it deals an additional 2 damage. So seems pretty good for 9. I don't know if 9R is too much for Instill Vigor. It's just, I had 1 of them and it seemed fun. So I just thought I'd toss it in for these summons. So that is my Idris Monsters deck, loosely based off of Scheming Skeletons. I've just kind of tossed together my favorite summons, all my rares, all my epics. And when you start off with dragons and gorillas and lightless Tibicinas, and then a bunch of these one-of rares, like they just seem pretty good. So I have yet to test this deck. I haven't place tested any of these decks yet. So this is my Idris Monsters deck. Stay tuned for the other 2. We're going to get into Kendra Tempits as well as Kun's Smack 'em Up. So thank you, and keep a lookout for these other videos coming.